had an epiphany on a leap year about my life's purpose. There's something sentimental about such unique dates, and having an epiphany on a leap year seemed profoundly special, almost as if these moments of clarity are as rare as leap years themselves. Yet, with every leap year, another cycle begins, bringing new epiphanies and hopes for change. This makes me wonder, do we generally change over time, or do we simply grow older, feeling increasingly lost and disillusioned with a world that fails to meet our expectations? I once felt that way, but I don't anymore. I once wanted to throw it all away and start anew because I had no idea how to exist in my world. I was so disconnected from who I was, overly stimulated by all the constant traumas of my life that I couldn't get comfortable in my outwardly comfortable existence. Why? How was I going to fix that? Throughout my life, I unwittingly laid down bricks of trauma and fear, building a maze that I blindly navigated, hidden from the outside world. By repeatedly examining my life's events through a lens of creative exploration, I've developed a fictional narrative that has illuminated the path to healing my generational wounds and breaking the cycle that trapped me. Achieving this breakthrough necessitated a deep understanding of the process that shaped me, taking me back to the very start, to where my story and I began. Seeing how we play both heroes and villains in our narratives begins a journey to the core of who we are. And once you've realized it, there's no going back. To do this while simultaneously raising daughters and trying to break generational trauma took me to the darkest places of my life when the world collapsed. It was as though every trigger from my past was forced upon me. Childhood, motherhood, world collapse, isolation, anger, desperation, survival, love. How were any of us supposed to stay strong? I certainly failed, and I was judged for it, fueling the cycle further. There was only one way to stop it from perpetuating, and it was by confronting the one wound I couldn't escape. I had to go back to the original sin, the beginning of where my story started. As a child, amidst the days of a challenging life, my mother and I often talked about writing a book together, a gripping tale of adventure, brimming with magic, mystery, danger, and escape. It was a story I had forgotten until I found it again, words I wrote about my mother and I, and what he did to us. Women deserve a voice. Women who have suffered horrific physical, environmental, and societal abuse deserve their stories to be remembered. For all human history, our stories are lessened, crushed, burned, forgotten, repeated, and we stop it through voice, and we do that through understanding what happened to us, and we do that through communicating how it impacted us through hearing one another unfiltered. That's how you heal. And I made a promise to myself as a little girl to one day understand what I went through when I knew I couldn't back then. Our stories start earlier than we think, and eventually they get convoluted with relationships, nonsense, traumas, and distractions, and what we come to believe is purpose. But if I look back to where my original purpose was, it was to tell my story.